We want him to give us a reliable system for public education funding. We cannot run our school systems based on chaos and doubt. What we need the governor to do is to certify a financial plan that will pay back these monies quickly. I'm very proud to be a part of this movement, this lawsuit. It's very important that we stop this from happening ever again. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Oliver Robinson, the superintendent of Shenandoah Schools.
As an educational leader in the field, this is a difficult situation to contend with, because what do we say to our children? What do we say to our staff? Well, potentially we'll have those programs in place a month from today, a day from today, a week from today. And as we stand here and trying to understand, we know and appreciate the significant fiscal issues that the state is dealing with. We understand that. So we're not in a situation where we're whining about school funding. We're simply saying that, you know what, commitments were made and commitments should be kept. And as a school superintendent, rep 680 school districts across the state, we're simply saying that, you know what, the greatest investment this state can in fact make is an investment in the future of our kids. As we deal with economic issues of the state, we need to really think about how can we consistently fund schools in such a way that we're not jeopardizing every day based upon the political winds and the political whims of the government in this case. And it's unfortunate that as someone who represents young people, represent the future of our state, that we're sitting here fighting against those who are supposed to be in fact supporting our young people. When I go back to my school district and meet with kids in classrooms, the question they're asking me, Dr. Robinson, will we still have this? Will we still have sports? Will we still have music? Will we still have robotics? Will we still have all those things that we're striving for each day for our kids? And I simply can't say, I don't know, because I have no idea what the state is doing. But yet we have laws that dictate that we should know. And this lawsuit is saying that, you know what, let's stick to our commitments. Let's stick to our commitments that we have made to our children in this state. It's a great state to be in, but it's an awful situation right now that we're in, that the commitments are being languished because of political whims.
The establishment of the budget is a democratic process. It's a democratic process on a state level and on a school district level, and I think the governor's actions eviscerate that process. These are budgets on a school district level that have been approved by district taxpayers and that have essentially been blown up as a result of the governor's actions. It has a disproportionate impact on the poor school districts, and there is harm that will come to some of these children that they will not be able to recover from. Not all of this can be made up by providing additional monies at some future point in time. For those of you that are interested, I can tell you, I'll give you a little bit of the schedule that's been established to date with respect to this lawsuit. Judge Lynch today signed an order to show cause, which requires the Attorney General's office to submit opposition papers by December 23rd, close of business. Plaintiff's reply papers are due December 30th, with the return of January 1st. So a potential hearing date of January 1st. This case will be assigned to the judge. If it gets assigned back to Judge Lynch, that schedule will stay firm. If it goes to another judge, which is a possibility, that judge will have the authority to alter that schedule.
Could you just say your name for the record?
My name is Kevin Casey with the School Administrators Association.
And Mr. Casey, was there an enjoining at all in the order to show cause, or did the non-certification go through?
We did not seek a TRO.
Okay.
No.
And why did you not seek a TRO? Because these funds obviously are critical to these districts. Why not seek a TRO?
Well, the order to show cause seeks an expedited process in any event. We chose not to seek a TRO because of the complexity of the issue that is facing the courts. We thought entirely likely that they would require more time, so it's adequately briefed in any event.
The governor has said that in the budget that was passed this spring, there was a stipulation that the money only be released after it's certified by the budget director. He's saying that they gave him the right then, and in this case he withheld certain certifications. What's your argument against that?
I think he sought to have the budget director, or he sought the authority not to send money out that the budget director had certified. And
no, he said no, the budget director did not certify 10% of the school funding. He certified the rest of it.
Well, the money was appropriated pursuant to constitutional and statutory authorities of the legislature. And essentially what the governor did not get is what he wanted when the deficit reduction plan was put
But
forward.
he's saying the agreement allowed him to withhold this money because it has not been certified yet.
No, we disagree.
He's saying that's the law.
We think the legislature
That's in the budget.
appropriately promulgated these funds, and he's under an obligation to release them. He can't unilaterally decide that these monies are not going to be released.
So that provision doesn't exist, as far as you understand it? He's lying?
I'm not saying anyone's lying. No.
This provision, this certification,
Yeah, you can face them when you're responding. It's okay.
this certification
It's okay.
process, which demands that the budget director first vouch for the fact that the state has the money before the comptroller can actually send the money to the districts, also was in the budget that was approved by the legislature. So, how is the governor not
Well,
with the Constitution?
the fact that the spending might result in a deficit situation does not equate to the governor having the authority not to make appropriate expenditures.
But that's not what he's saying. He's saying that there is a stipulation in the budget that was passed by the legislature that says the money is only sent out the door, it's only appropriated after the certification from the budget director. The budget director is withholding such certification.
The budget director's named in the lawsuit as well.
So why did he go? Why did he go to the
Can you
legislature?
talk in the microphone, please?
Yeah. I would ask the question: why did he go to the legislature then, requesting?
He doesn't have to.
Well, but he did.
Because it was part of an overall
He went to the
budget plan
legislature on more than one
seeking.
occasion and asked for them to support his deficit reduction plan. They
That's
rejected it.
different. What he's saying is that there's a baked-in provision of the current budget that allows him to withhold funds, separate from his attempt to get a separate DRP passed.
And we
I'm Bob
don't.
Lowery. I'm the Deputy Director of the Council of Schools.
Please
I also
step
work for
forward.
Ways and
Can you
Means, and I
talk?
work for Governor Cuomo.
Bob, if you're talking about
Sure,
please.
sorry. I'm Bob Lowery. I'm the Deputy Director of the State Council of School Superintendents. I also work for Ways and Means and for Governor Cuomo. There are laws that prescribe payment schedules and formulas for school aid, and they say that certain amounts will be paid by certain dates. So at a minimum, there's a conflict between that provision that the governor cites and these other laws. There's been previous rulings by the state's highest court, the Court of Appeals, saying that governors cannot withhold local assistance funds. And I think there's a particularly strong case for something like school aid, where, again, there are laws that say certain amounts by certain dates.
But
So
those
just
previous
to-
rulings did not have this provision
Are you address the provision in the budget?
in the lawsuits.
Again, the money was appropriated according to the Constitution, and
Appropriated according to
previous
the budget.
ruling did. Yes, this law was not on the books at that time, but I think the principles still hold that governors cannot withhold duly appropriated local assistance.
What about
funds.
his argument that as governor he has an obligation to prevent the state from going into the red at any given moment, and that that's all he's doing in this case?
Well, this prior decision, Burley versus Oneida versus Burley, said, as a practical matter, the budget cannot literally be in balance at every point in time. The state has, the governor has a duty to propose a balanced budget. I think the legislature has kind of a practical duty to adopt a balanced budget, but it cannot literally remain in balance throughout the year.
Well, just off the legal question for a minute, what would you have the governor do if he's running out of money? Should he borrow money short term to be able to make these school payments? Would that be the alternative, or something else?
That is
You look like
something
you want to answer
that is what we have said all along. He first of all should go to the rainy day fund. He has done that to some extent, but there are other ways, other funds that he could tap into, and one of them is to borrow money, and we have encouraged him to do that.
Well, he's also said, though, that he wants the districts to tap into their quote-unquote rainy day funds before he did anything like that.
That's right, and many districts have done that. In
Right.
fact, there have been a lot of districts that have tapped into their reserves, and in fact, we're looking ahead. Next year, we expect state aid to be flat. We don't know what's going to happen with the federal stimulus package because they've already borrowed $400 million from that. We expect that local taxpayers are going to want local budget votes to be relatively low. And then in 2011, federal stimulus dollars potentially go away. Costs increase, go dramatically higher, particularly the pension costs. And now our reserve funds are tapped out and we're broke. So we don't want to be spending all of our reserve monies right now.